For me, like I said, the fact that I went through the type of program that I went through, being military based and, having to really look inside it, it was literally a game changer, right? It's like somebody said, these are all the tools and everything you've been asking for. Here they are,
A lot of
right?
discipline.
Right. It was straight discipline, accountability, uh, being okay with if people fucking up around you, you got to deal with the price because it could be good or bad, right? So
That's right.
right now I'm surrounded. This is your success. I'm being blessed because I'm being surrounded, by you guys right now.
All right, everybody, thank you and welcome to another episode of Success After Lockdown, New York, Florida edition. We in the building today down in
The
Florida.
Sunshine State, baby.
Huh?
Yeah.
You already know, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to everybody that's been following since season 1, 2, and now going on season 3. We had an all-cast lineup today. We got my brother Miguel Abieg, which is an honor and a pleasure to have him here on the show. We're going to get into it a little bit about, you know already who I am. We got EB over here.
You already
in
know. I'm
building.
looking forward to meeting the brother because, if he your brother, he my brother.
There
you already
go.
know.
There you go. And with that saying, so we got today on the show, we got my brother Miguel Abieg. He's from here, from Florida. A little bit about Miguel. Me and Miguel met about 15 years ago when I first moved down here to Florida and getting clean and recovery. Yes, we do recover. We just clicked right off the rip, right? We
Right
kind
off
of just clicked right off the rip. Met in a meeting, and at the time I was staying in a halfway house. I did 11 months and like 10 days in the halfway house out of my 1-year commitment. And Miguel linked up. He had a house. Started renting me a room, and it was like a wrap from there. Like we just moved on, and we always empowered each other. We always, motivated, uplifted one another. He's a very successful businessman now today, homeowner, monopolizing his community on the block with some houses. And it's amazing, and I'm going to let him tell his story on how he got there. And it's dear for me. Thank you for being here, Miguel.
Thank you
No
for having
question.
me.
No question.
So thank you for being on the show. With that being said, Miguel, you want to introduce yourself to everybody, who you are, what you do, and then we are going to talk about, your upbringing, what was it like, family, like we telling our story, right? We're just having conversation. What we're going to do is we're going to tell people how you changed your life and how you became successful and what that means to you.
That's right. So if we could start from, your upbringing. 2-parent home, 1-parent home. How you grew up, where you grew up, know what I mean?
Okay.
If you could share that with our family.
Yeah.
And,
All right. Like Anthony said, my name's Miguel Abieg. I was born and raised in Miami.
okay. Big up to Miami.
Yeah.
MIA.
MIA.
Yeah, Sunshine State.
305.
Yeah.
I grew up in the just my mother. Dad wasn't around. Alcoholic. Mom was heavy into the drugs. So I grew up around 17th Avenue by the courthouse but near the Orange Bowl. Anybody who knows that neighborhood, it's you. For me, I always felt that from the beginning, I was being set up for failure off rip, right? Because from the beginning, it was a false belief. And what I mean by a false belief was that respect from gang members or respect from people in the street was the real way to do it. There was no self-respect. You had to get through somebody else and get validation from others. Oh, you're doing fresh or your clothes look great.
Yeah.
You didn't know how to do it for yourself because you weren't taught that at an early age, right? So with saying that at 9, 10 years old, I'm out in the streets, riding my BMX bikes with 2 other buddy of mine, and you would ride your bike down the wrong side of the block and you have 4 other dudes chasing you, trying to steal your bike,
Yeah.
So from the beginning, it was already that mindset of, it's, you're trying to grab tight of the little bit of what you do have, right?
Absolutely.
That you think at that time really has value, when in reality, the older I got, the more I realized it had no value.
We did that in the Bronx too. They try to take our bikes.
Yeah, you try to, right, so that was, so already from the beginning, it was already being, for me, the way that I viewed it was, being set up for failure. There was no real opportunity. Education wasn't a thing. It was more of who you were hanging out with and how much time were you spending in the streets, right? The pain was my teacher, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And, so by the age of about 14, that's when I already pretty much started feeding and clothing myself. Mom always going abroad, a lot of dudes in and out of my house. So, that part still emotionally still hurts me quite a bit, because to be, as a kid at that age, to be exposed to that type of stuff and not really having any type of stability in your life, it really puts your mind in a place where you're not thinking of consequence. You're just thinking of gain, right? You can't, your brain can't really take you to something else. So for many years, that was it. So, I think I would drive with a suspended license a lot, so I was going in and out of jail constantly. It didn't seem like much, but little did I know that was going to be the road I was going to be heading down. To the point to where, I would get arrested for whatever the case may be. Take my shoes off, use them as a pillow, and go to sleep because I knew nothing was going to happen for a couple of hours. And I get fingerprinted. If I'm lucky, I get bonded out or get pretrial release or whatever, and set out to come back on a court date. And for many years, that was the story of my life. Went to ended up in prison a couple of times. You start with the 0. I ended up getting an A. So it was going to just keep progressing the alphabet. The number never changes.
Yeah.
It's just the letter in front of the number. And for many years that was just it. It was just no hope, no dreams, no expectations. There was no real. It was just zero substance. No real intimate relationships like brotherly love, like I was able to build with Anthony, to where you can become, intimate friends with somebody. What I mean by intimate, it doesn't necessarily have to be something physical. It was an emotional thing that I never had growing up, where you're emotional, somebody hugs you and said, don't worry about it, you're going to be all right. They cry with you when you're in your successes. They're right there to celebrate and pick you up just the same. Being,
right.
Whether it's hard times or good times, it's the availability of the friendship was there,
Yeah.
and it was hard to, for me, because the two main people of my life who were supposed to teach me morals, ethic, love, safety, mom and dad, were the very two first ones to instill that shit don't happen.
Yeah.
So for all these years, my mind, it was, everybody sucks.
Yeah.
If my own mother, my own father can't be there, what?
I like to ask. Pardon me too. I like to ask everybody this. I like to, people that I come across and growing up the way we grew up. Just out there and this, this. I guess I would say this hood area of being introduced to the streets. I look back now and I can see quite a few people in my life that was a positive influence, but I kind of shoved it off because I was gravitated more towards being influenced by the streets harder. So if you could think back, did you ever see those, or did you ever have any of those positive influences in your life back then that you kind of?
No, I didn't.
Don't worry, Miguel, me either.
Yeah, that's like,
This guy here.
I'm like, that's a good question, but
Yeah,
nah, man. I mean,
you know what
I can think of is maybe
That's right.
my science teacher, Miss Curry, because
Yeah.
she knew that we were broke, and she knew that I loved science,
That's
and
right.
she would, come with us. Don't worry, you don't have to pay. We're gonna go to Disney, and we will go camping, and anything that had to do with science.
right.
Set up the fish tank in the office of school.
Yeah.
That was the only
Yeah.
person that I could think that.
Yeah,
But
and there's
anybody else, it
there's
was literally no
there's
one
not
else.
many, because my
Yeah.
fifth grade teacher, right, Miss Clark.
Yeah.
I was the teacher's pet.
Yeah.
PS 85. Yeah, I was the teacher's pet.
Yeah.
And she always wanted me to do better, but she knew I was a really bad kid, you
Right,
know,
right,
running
right, right.
around in school.
Really bad kid.
You know, but I just ask that because I know that a lot of times we do have some that we acknowledge that we see and some that we don't.
Yeah.
As I grew up, I had to see that. I had to see a friend of ours that we both grew up with named Skipper, you know, leave the block and come back as a Muslim and used to tell us, yo, y'all shouldn't be doing this. Y'all shouldn't be doing what y'all doing, selling drugs, selling this poison to your community. And we used to hide from him. The days he come back, you know, nah, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. So that's why I just asked that, you know. That's
It's a valid question, but that's what I was saying, that from the beginning it was a setup for failure.
That's right.
You know, there was no real, hey, come with me, let me show you something different. You know, it wasn't available. At least in the circles and where we grew up, you know, it was more before a lease would end, the eviction notices on the door, and you know, having to move again. And you know, my mom didn't move like 2 blocks down the street. You know, my mom would change schools.
Yeah.
So it's this constant change. There was no true roots, you know? Yeah, Miami, I could tell you every corner of Miami, I could tell you the good, the bad, the indifference, but there was no roots because we were constantly moving. You know, when I hear a lot of people, oh, they've been my friends since, I lost contact with all these people, and I don't really, I don't know, there's many, I know that we're, you know, my group of people, the way we think is, I don't do social media, 0. Like I've never opened Facebook, no Instagram, I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
I'm more of this is my speed right here. I like to sit and connect on a human level, I don't want to see, you know, how amazing this guy's doing, and then I run into him 3 days later and realize, yo, but wait a minute, weren't you just talking about how good you were doing? Oh, it was just a picture you put up. Oh, my bad. I misunderstood the facade you're trying to put up. You know what I mean? And I ain't judging people for doing that. Hey, what works for you works for me. For me, that's always been my business. Come fully organic. Word of mouth, no marketing, it's just, he tells you, he tells Gerard, and it tells you, and next thing you know, now, you know, and I got, you know, customers too where I'm doing, you know, the daughter, you know, the mother, the grandmother, their kids. I see, you know, and that's how my business has been. You know, I've been blessed.
That's right. That's a blessing.
You know, for me,
Absolutely.
and I know people are like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why don't you do social media? I was like, because I don't like it. It's just not. It's just not for me. You know what I mean? I'd rather do what we're doing right now. To me, this is more. This is the intimacy that I think more people who are emotionally available or mentally capable are going to connect better, you know, to really hear someone's experience and what you're trying to do. You know, somebody, what do you say, 26 years?
27 and
26 fucking, that's a long fucking time.
No question.
You know what I'm saying? That's, my daughter's 23, bro. Like, we were locked up 3 years before she was even a gleam in my eye.
Yeah.
To put it into perspective,
That's right.
you know? And then here we are sitting, you know, trying to show people, you think, let's just say 20 years ago, 21 years ago, you think either one of us in this room thought we were going to be in here trying to talk about something positive and how to change society and how to let people know there's a way out? Not in a million years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Miguel, to tell us, you was talking about, you know, the ins and outs of jail, right? Your last bit. Let's talk about the last bit that you did. I know the story with the drug court and everything. Tell us about that experience, right? That last one where you hit that pivotal role where you was less like that light bulb just went off. I don't know, they put you through the drug court and all that, and you was just like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, so my my moment for me, it was I think it was kind of, it was one of those moments that you say it's to me it's like a movie, because it's like, to me it's like bullshit. How did that even happen?
Yeah.
So I'm in Boca Raton, you know, late at night. I was actually trying to find a strip club. Wasn't too familiar with the area. Didn't know that Boca doesn't have strip clubs, right? And at least not that I know of. And yeah, there's none. Correct. So I like architecture. I like buildings. I like how things are built. So it was called Wachovia Bank. It's on It's on the corner of Federal. Is it Clintmore? Yeah, Clintmore. It's right in the corner. It's a bank, and I've actually pulled over to take a picture of the bank and how it literally had no corner, and just the shape it kind of. And this is me high, mind you.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I'm coked out, cracked out,
Yeah.
weeded out, and you name it. It was definitely happening. So
You still got that artistic eye.
yeah. And I'm still looking, and sure enough, a cop gets behind me, and I thought there was like parking on the shoulder of the street. I went back years later, and it was not even a bike lane, but in my mind, it was a fucking. I was literally blocking Federal Highway, like I didn't even, And the cop pulled. He goes. What are you doing? I was like, no, I was just taking a picture of the building, and I have at that time, you had your the big DVD portable players, and I had wires. That's when there was really no Wi-Fi going on, and it's all on my seat. And the cop looks at me, and goes, "Are you aware of what your surroundings are?" And I was like, "No, I was just looking at the building." He goes, "I see all these electronics. You are aware that there's nothing but banks around here, right?" And I go, "What?" And I realize that I'm taking pictures. So and I go, whoa, no, sir, that's not what's going on. I go, no, I'm not. I go, no, here, let me show, and I'm showing him my stuff. He goes, just step out of the car for a second. And so I step out, whatever. He runs my license. My license was suspended. I had no idea my license was actually suspended. I always did AC, so valid driver's license was the one thing that I always made sure was good. Working for a company, you have to be able to. If you can't drive a truck, you're not making any money. And sure enough, the guy goes, well, he goes, just have somebody come pick you up. Don't worry about it. He goes, but we can't let you drive the car. He goes, I'm just gonna park the car right here on the side, call somebody, have them pick you up. Don't, I just can't. And I go, all right. At that moment, I didn't think the minute I let him drive the car, he can search the car.
Yeah.
I did it at that moment, but it happened so smooth. And the
fast,
fact that he's
so
saying, well, I'm going to let you go,
smooth.
just call somebody. And I call, like, oh, somebody's going to come pick me up. He goes, all right, perfect. No worries. He comes back and he pulls out. I even forgot half the shit that was even in the car. So he starts pulling out, money, drugs, quarter sticks of dynamite, brass. I mean, you name it. This guy just lays it all on the trunk of the car. The fucking cop asked me. He goes, so, who does this belong to? And as serious as I can possibly look them dead in the face and said, it's mine. The cop goes, whoa, what? Because obviously, being a junkie, being an addict, the last thing you do is say the truth to a cop, especially when your next several years of your life is sitting on that hood. You already know it's gonna. And he look, and I go, and before my brain can even process it, I said it again. I go, sir, it's mine. And I literally I think that was the pivotal moment in my life where I was 35 years old. I was literally just, I guess, sick and tired. And God must have said, shut your mouth. I'm gonna say this for you. And I mean, to this day, like it impacts me because if I would not have had the intervention, because I'm not going to say the strength to it, because to this day I still know it wasn't me that did that. I mean, the hairs on my arms stand up because I know for a fact I would never admit to illegal shit, especially to 3 cops standing in front of me, And if it wasn't for that specific moment, I would not be sitting here with you today. Wow. And going back to your question, tell us about that. And then the rest, obviously, went to it was a military-based boot camp program, 17 hours a day. You couldn't touch your bunk, and it was, you do PTs 3 days a week. That was probably, the second, because I've been in prison twice. So the second time that I was ever in phenomenal shape, literally abs and the whole.
Okay.
Not
you
like my
Well, you got one though. We already established that earlier. So you're working on it. You're working on
so
it.
you had it.
Right. Pull-ups. I would literally on my own go run. Every other day 4 miles. I would run from Woolbright to Boyne because that's where I first moved. Just running back and forth, running through the parking lot of the treatment center that I was at, and the people who worked there. Hey, you can't be running. And I was like, I just left the program that's connected with you. You guys taught me how to do this, and now you're telling me I can't do what you taught me to do? I go, nah, bullshit. I go, write me up. Write me up, bro. So that way, if you write me up, it's going to be for something good, finally, for once.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I did it took me probably, I think 6 months in is when I had an emotional bottom in there, you know, where I finally said, all right, every time I get in trouble, every time I get arrested, the common denominator is drugs. You know, yeah, me, obviously, but it was always drugs, always involved.
Yeah, we gotta
And
find something else.
Correct. And, you know, and then they actually, that was the only place that actually taught me what I probably should have learned as a kid. You know what I mean? So then that was, I don't know, they just taught me there was an option. There was a choice. Hey, you have a choice, man. You don't have to keep banging your head. You know? You can, there's a different way, but they gave me those tools, right? They gave me the tools that I need. I don't mean physical screwdrivers. I meant like coping skill, decision making, you know, the ability to be available for other people and receive other people.
Yep.
You know, so that was probably the last time with what happened, you know. I think the takeaway from that was, if I wouldn't have said the truth at what I thought, or that false belief that I was talking about, if I wouldn't have said the truth at the moment that I did, my life wouldn't have never changed. So it was basically one decision, basically, is what changed my life,
That's right.
you know, to head in the other
And
direction.
it actually it saved you.
It
It
saved my life.
actually saved you.
Absolutely.
Right? And like the irony of it.
Yeah.
The irony of it, right?
Exactly.
It was like, for me, like on my last run,
Mm-hmm.
if you remember, when
Yeah, I remember.
it's like 2 weeks on a crazy run. And I remember getting that phone call, sitting up in the apartment, like literally desperate, just lost, I was done. Literally ready to blow my head off. And that phone call coming, and person asked, hey, how you doing? And my ego, that's always what to say, oh, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And when they asked, y'all, how you doing? And I was like, oh, I was like, yo, I'm not good. I'm dying. I'm literally at the end of the rope. And I start stuttering. And I finally got up from where I've been sitting at for I don't know how many days. And I finally walked towards the bathroom. And I remember that mirror. I walked past that mirror, and for like the first time in like 2 weeks, I saw my reflection. And I was just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
So that last time you were incarcerated, when you were released, like, can you share with us what moves you took to, you know, being that success story in your own right, and that means to staying out of that place,
Right.
never going back.
Yeah, for me, like I said, the fact that I went through the type of program that I went through, being military based, and you know, having to really look inside it, it was literally a game changer, right? It's like somebody said, these are all the tools and everything you've been asking for. Here they are.
A lot
right?
of discipline.
Right. It was straight discipline, accountability, being okay with if people fucking up around you, you got to deal with the price because it could be good or bad, right? So
That's
right now I'm surrounded. This is your success. I'm being blessed because I'm being surrounded, you know, by you guys right now. And the same will go with negative. You hang around with the negative guys and doing dumb shit, you're gonna go to jail just like they are.
Absolutely.
So I'd rather stay in a circle like this that's gonna probably elevate me and others, you know, which is the goal, right? And you know, once I actually, you know, got out, I already had I had already gotten an AC, you know, job. We were working in, you know, mega yachts. You know, I was working for a company, and I remember this is when gas prices were through the roof, and the company actually gave me a commercial vehicle. So I was the only one. I was the only one in that treatment center that had a company vehicle. You know, these guys, you know, everybody's on bicycles. You know, you're transitioning. You know, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I remember even the employees getting feeling some type of way. You know, and I remember looking at them going, I wasn't always a dumbass criminal. You know, I actually went to school and I did something. I just make poor decisions. I go, my
That's
problem
right.
is I make poor decisions,
Right.
you know, more than I do good ones. I go, but I have made good ones, you know. And, you know, they would get, you know, they felt some type of way. And kind of, and for me, in a way, it kind of felt good because it kind of, I guess, gave me some kind of validation. You know, I mean, if they're supposedly to be the ones doing the right thing, this, that, the other, and then they're feeling some type of way towards me, I must be on the right
Right
direction.
track. That's
Right? You know what I mean? I must be on the right direction. And, you know, I remember when I got out of there, that's moved to Boynton, and you know, I was renting a property, and I remember, because this was, you know, early recovery, and a lot of my friends were, you know, they were making mad stupid money. There was a lot of you know, the phone, the timeshares. There was a lot of other scams that were going on in those times. And I remember these dudes, man. I mean, we're in the halfway house. I'm making, you know, yeah, I'm getting company trucks, gas, you know, health insurance, you know, 401ks. You know, I'm making something for the long term, something with substance, right? But yet, I'm from the streets. You know, these dudes are, you know, pulling out knots, you know, and I'm going, and I would look at them, and I remember, because that was like, to me, the make it or break it for me, right? Because you know, that was one of those forks that presented itself and said, "Oh, Miguel, you would be great, bro. You're a slick talker. You can make people, you know, you could emotionally connect. Like you'd be great at this." And I looked at them and I said, "No, thank you." Just like that, just calling like that, and Anthony can validate for that. You know, tons of opportunities like that. And I said, I will be like, I'm not jealous of you. I just wish I was making the money you're making. And that was my attitude. You know what I mean? And I just gradually just stuck to the AC.
Well, maybe a different way.
Correct. And I ended up, the beauty of that is that, you know, while these guys were, oh, we're going to go travel here, we're going to go there, come with us. And I was like, nah, man, I can't. I got to save my money. You know, I have a plan. You know, I have a goal that I'm trying to reach, you know, and I had my short, you know, mid and long-term goals. You know, these are things that they taught me. It sounds so elementary, but for an addict from the streets, it was the answer.
That's big.
It was the answer. To me, that was game changer. You know, and not only, you know, think it, put it into a plan, then take action, right? It was the three little, it seems simple now because I've been doing it for so long, but at that time it was like, yo, they were giving me rubies, emeralds, and diamonds and shit, you know, like of information. And I was like, oh, wow, is that what it is? Oh man, my eyes, like at 35-year-old, you know, at this point I'm probably 37, my eyes are finally open.
Yeah.
Look how long, man. People already have families and homes, and my eyes are just finally just, oh wow, holy shit, man, like this is for real. But I had to do the biggest part was the sacrificing, right? Prioritizing what was important. But by doing that, I had to sacrifice, you know, what I thought was, you know, let's go take this trip, let's do that. And I look back, you know, at these guys that were in that time in my life, and dead, back in jail. If they're lucky, they're renting an apartment, you know, and all that sacrifice. And then, you know, some of these guys are like,
ran out.
Yeah, and then a lot of these guys look at me and go, fuck, man, we used to make fun of you. Like, we made fun of you because you didn't want to. And I was like, I told you, I got plans, man. I can't go back to that shit. I refuse, man. I know what that feels like. I can't say that. I'm not one of these guys that go, oh, I can tell you exactly what it was like. I don't remember exactly what it was like. I just know that it sucks. You know, I can genuinely tell you, yeah, I don't want to feel like that anymore. Because I remember them telling me, remember what this feels like so you never have to do it again.
That's right.
You know,
Absolutely.
And with that, like I said, Miguel is one of my close friends down here, and you know, so we lived in a rental house together.
That's how it started, man. The rental house,
in a rental house, and the reason why I'm saying, like, I remember talking, I was one of those guys that was doing the illegal shit, still living with them, making the money, and you know, watching them every day, get up, go to freaking work, put on that white Hoffman and Nixon shirt, you know, getting in his van, going to freaking work. While I'm like, yeah, he go bust his ass, sweating in little attics and shit. I'm going into an office, right? But he never judged me. He never looked at me different. He just always told me, Anthony, you know, your choice. You live whatever it is that you come, whatever comes with it. But today, right, from all of that, I love how you said that, you know, short term, mid term, long term goal, right? Because that I had to go back to prison to finally get home to do that. To get to where I'm at now, right? To finally it hit me, like you said, that holy shit, right? Coming home, sacrificing, remember?
Yeah.
Still eating ramen noodle soup, taking a fucking bus to probation.
Working for pennies an hour. I remember.
Yeah, fucking, you gotta burn out, you know, I'm working 16 hours a day, riding a red scooter, from a red scooter to a Honda Accord to renting, and then, you know, for hard work and dedication and consistency and staying in your own truth. But I tell people,
right.
now my brother owns 2 fucking homes. He owns, you know what I'm saying? He just bought his second home, put it all out cash, right? You know, amazing, beautiful home. Did a complete remodel of it, right? We want to brag a little, right? Because this is what we do, right? Brag a little. We went from the fucking
That's
bottom.
right. And
you
it's
know,
bragging with all humility.
So I was just,
Right.
yeah, and because I tell people, don't set limitations. You didn't get clean, you didn't get your life together to be basic.
Right.
Be extraordinary. Be fucking extraordinary. Be like the guy, remember when we was little kids, the car that passed by the block, you'd be like, my car, my car, my car. I want to be that guy now that when people drive by and see Miguel, they like, my car. You know what I'm saying? They drive down there, my hood. And I say that because he put in the work. He found his truth. He found his voice, and he stuck to it. And I look up to him for that, right? And like even the other day, I'm at his house the other day, and we're in his cigar lounge, and I look across, you can see his other house, right? And I'm like, oh man, you got some other work going on in your house? And he goes, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Like, cause he's doing some more work on his previous house. But what I'm saying, like today, he went from driving a company van, got his own 2 company vans he had. He had a nice S560 Mercedes-Benz, got a Cadillac Escalade,
Sure.
got a $25,000 freaking Rolex on, right? He's living fucking life, right? And that is a success, not how much stuff he has materialistically or financially or money-wise, but the fact that he didn't have to go back through the system and have to go back to sitting in a drug court or have to go back through the treatment to do that. That is what success is, right? This is what we talk about.
And I always say, you know, like, we all deserve the finer things in life. Even, you know, after we went through what we went through in life, I think everybody deserves the finer thing in life. And that's what you want, then you go get it. There's this thing called discipline, patience, and preparation.
Yep.
And you know, once you prepare yourself in life, you know, the skies are unlimited. You know, everything else is unlimited. You know, and that's a success in itself. And we all in our own lane. That's another thing. You know, don't think that, you know, oh man, you know, oh, this dude right here, he's doing this. I want this. Go get it in your lane. Go get it your way. You know what I mean? That's, you know, it's just that it is. It really is just that simple. You know, in my eyes, growing up, I grew up in prison. You know, at the same time, I never let my mind and my spirit and my soul stay in prison. You know, I went in prison without a GED. I got my GED in prison, my associates, my bachelor's, and my master's degree while I was incarcerated. So I didn't just let the time do me in that 27 years and 6 months that I've been in prison. So, you know, I always tell people, you know, I prepared for this. I prepared to meet you today. I prepared for this moment. This was in preparation 10 years before today, right, that I was going to be here, and we here. So, you know, I definitely applaud your success and just your growth and development that you had to go through. Because we all come from similar backgrounds, right, but we all have our own lanes.
Our own path, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you and your story is a story to tell. And it's a story that's really appreciated. And I appreciate you bringing that to us today and our followers and families.
Yeah, definitely. And and another thing, well, I think Miguel and I, really, really connect. And it's gonna get a little probably emotional now. You know, we have older kids. He has mentioned his daughter. He went through some trial stuff with his daughter, same as me with my older kids.
No question.
You want to talk about that, Miguel? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's important because it's a big part of my story. So due to the fact of abusing drugs, right? When my daughter was born, I had a choice of be a father, be there for this child, or keep getting high. I made the decision to keep getting high. Yeah. So I became the very people that I didn't like, right? I abandoned my daughter the very same way that I got abandoned by my parents, right? So I kept that cycle going, not knowing at that moment, right, that I was doing the very same thing. I became the people that I'm going to say hate because I hated them. I really just didn't like my family. And, for many years, I was part of my daughter's life. I'm going to say part because I was physically showing up. Emotionally, I really wasn't there till about she was maybe 4. The baby's mom remarried. Thank God. Thank you, baby Jesus. She stayed with only one dude. And that there wasn't a lot of guys coming in and out, so my daughter didn't see a lot of men coming in and out like the way that I saw many men coming in and out of my mom's life, right? Yeah. So it gave her at least a sense of stability. So a couple of, before she had turned, by the time she was, I think, 15 or 14, I finally was in a position where emotionally, spiritually, and financially, right? Because without the money, I couldn't get the attorney and go to court to try to fight to get the custody of my daughter back, right? Mm-hmm. Before she turned 18, I wanted to try to have some type of a time with her. It was for years. I mean, it took a couple of years and, kept getting postponed. And, the mom, the mom and the stepdad were poisoning the well, for lack of a better term. They had her ear. They would, well, your dad this. I didn't have a way to defend myself, right? Because she wasn't around me. The courts weren't allowing it. It was, the last time I had saw her was through supervised visitation in the courthouse. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, but it is the most degrading thing, the most humiliating thing I did breaks my heart. As a father, it was the most humiliating thing I had ever done in my life, having to go to that building. And thank you. And somehow, some way, after, I remember the last day we went to court, I was always going dressed nice and everything. And I remember the last day I went to court, I was like, fuck this judge, man. He's not seeing what's going on. They're contempt of court. He's telling them to do things. They're not doing things. I showed up in a T-shirt, some shorts, and fucking flip-flops. Mm-hmm. And that was the day where the fucking judge looks at me and he just leaned forward. You can see he checks me out. He goes, yeah, from here on out, he's going to start going to the father's house on the weekends. And I was like, you fucking kidding me, bro? There was such a great feeling, but I had no idea what I was about to encounter. I had to get, so the court had to get the psychiatrist or psychologist that they use is a forensic psychologist, right? They're the ones that report. So I was literally paying $300 an hour for my kid, $300 an hour for basically $600 an hour to accommodate and to meet what the court was asking for. And this is why I say I had to have financial backing, and to be, at this point I had, 9 years clean at this point. So it took a long time to really prepare myself to do this. And it was probably one of the, apart from getting clean, it was in that level of difficulty of sitting in a room and your kid looking at you and saying, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're nothing but a fucking sperm donor, and I don't want to fucking talk to you, and it was like, that's devastating because I had to take it. Oh, you think you a man? Let your fucking kid tell you that shit. Let's see how tough you really are, pal.
Yeah.
And that was one of those, aha or humbling moments or whatever you want to call it, to actually look and say, you're right. You're right, kid.
Yeah.
But I was blessed because I think last year or the year before last, she finally came in my life, celebrating Christmas, pictures. She actually went to a meeting with me. And I was asked to share, kind of what we're doing now, but in a meeting. And a lot of the people who were in the meeting, Anthony, included, came to support me to hear the story. And the beauty about it is that these guys got to hear me, the chords and what I was really feeling, and them to look at it and say, like, you don't understand what your dad's gone through. She's like, man, I felt like a rock star in there. She said, everybody knew him. And I go, I've been talking about your ass for the last 5 fucking years.
That's right.
And it was such a blessing to really overcome that and to tell her, in front of these people who supported me, like right now, right? So supporting me, supporting each other. And to be able to say I had a choice to pick my daughter or drugs, and I chose drugs, but today, here's my daughter, and I'm choosing my daughter. And that was, that's powerful, man. There's no other word, but it's like magic, I guess. It's like 1 minute, this kid's, you're a piece of shit, and the next minute you're in there and you're both crying and you're grieving together who you used to be, right? And to appreciating who you are, but it's, you're talking about 6, 7 different deep emotions at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think that's good on that.
Yeah.
It gets serious with that.
Absolutely.
But it's powerful, man.
And the reason why we talked about that, right? Because a lot of men, and probably mothers, but mostly men, right? We forget that component of being a part of being successful, right? The trauma, the mental breakdown, the PTSD, the depression, the anxiety that we cause by the choices that we make. Whether you're an addict or whether you just decide to choose the streets and continue to go in and out that revolving door of prison and neglect our kids.
That's an addict too. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm saying. Because, not even just an addict,
That's
but
right.
just, a person who's just, like for me, I had to go through that. I had to listen to my daughter tell me the same thing, and it's like you got to come to that point of boundaries now.
Right.
Now we have to create that boundary. Once we break that wall, and I can hear your side, you can hear my side. We can either work towards building something together, or we can continue staying here and be hateful and resentful towards one another. And we got to decide whether is this relationship worth continuing to be hurting one another, or to continue to just part ways and try to find some peace within ourselves in order so we can grow together. And that was the reason why I said that, because a lot of men, me being one of them, never wanted to take that accountability. Right?
Hard. It's hard. It's really hard to take that true
and
accountability.
like I
Yeah.
recall, so like when you called me and I like to see you go to that, and you had these conversations, like there's this conversation of men of fucking substance, of emotions and feeling. You talked about that, like that intimacy, right? Like we can sit down. I say we can laugh together and we can break bread. We can fucking cry together.
And,
Right, we can
and
share
at the
some
end
fun.
of the day, they the innocent ones. The children are the innocent ones, because when I look back, I wanted a son so bad. I left my son. He was 4 months old. I chose the prison.
Right.
I chose to take a young man's life, somebody that didn't deserve to die, that should be here today. That will forever be on me, on my heart and my soul. And leaving my son at the same time that I did that, leaving him fatherless. So it was just a blessing, a miracle for me that 14 years later, after seeing him from 4 months old, I didn't see my son until he was 14.
Yeah, same here.
And so just reestablishing that relationship with him during my incarceration and after, he's now one of our producers here at
Big
Success
shout out
After
to Karan.
Lockdown. No question. So when we look at the child, they are innocent, and these are actually the decisions we made. And they have to go through that process and they growth and development too, to come into that point to say, yo, listen, if they want to have this and reestablish this relationship with their father or mother, whoever it be. So it's definitely a heartfelt moment, for a lot of us, because a lot of us that come from where we come from, again, there go the similar situations, the similar stories that we have.
The cycle.
The cycle.
Repeating the same cycles, right.
How do you break that
That
cycle?
cycle, right? And that's what I was, right.
That's right.
When we're stuck in the whirlwind of the freaking cycle, right?
That's right.
You
And
literally have to have either reach out and allow someone else to grab you, pull you out, to say, hey, stop.
That's right.
Break the cycle, but teach me. But
That's the
teach you.
part, right?
That's the
How
part
do I,
right there.
How do I do something I don't know how to do
Exactly.
or was ever taught?
Right? Or even being
Yeah.
susceptible to being taught. Right?
Open, right?
You got to be open
Absolutely.
to that, right? Because nobody wants to take another advice from another man on how to be a parent.
Constructive
I'm a grown man.
criticism. Constructive criticism.
Like, and you're like, yeah, okay.
It's true,
you know
right?
what I'm saying? And like, this is why I love this show. This is why, like, I love doing what I do, right? It's because let's have these conversations. Nobody wants to have these conversations because they rather just shut the door behind it and keep moving. We could sit here all day and talk about, you know what I'm saying, the past, the choices we made, and prison stories, and the success and all that, right? But let's also talk about some real life issues that actually goes on every day, right? Not what we just post on social media, like he mentioned. On social media, you rarely have people that say, yo, today I'm having a fucking bad day. My wife just called me a motherfucker because she just called me. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yo, right now me and my wife, like, you rarely see that. It's like, okay, listen, I'm here in front of the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Life is great.
Right.
But I can't pay my freaking rent because I'm out here and just made a bad decision. Right? But hey, I'm living it up.
Yeah. Right.
See, but you know what? You know why I can appreciate the genuineness of this conversation, because I just met you today, but I know how genuine you are, because you know why? You spoke about the same thing Anthony spoke about, as well as others, as well as myself, that I acknowledge now. Knowledge is key for me. So you spoke about the distorted, the
false
term as
belief.
distorted
Yeah.
value system
Correct.
that we
Correct.
all have. We
Yeah.
have to shed that.
Yeah.
Once we shed it, I don't even have to see you with your children, whoever that be, or with your nieces and nephews. I know you're a great parent.
Right.
I know you're a striving great parent. We're gonna, everything is a struggle.
course.
We test it every day in life. For me, God brings a test to us. Just like the good, the bad, they right here, and it's always gonna be there. I see you, with your daughter. You're a great parent. You know what I mean? However, we question ourselves. We a lot of times, because we like, damn, am I doing it right? You can't just be a great parent from a book.
Yeah, there
You know
is
what
no
I'm
book.
saying?
There is no book.
So this is why I say,
Yeah.
for me, my answer is when I see how men and women like
Right.
you and I
Right.
shed that distorted value system
Right.
and grow and develop into life.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, right? Opening up that dialogue, right? You got to be able to open up that dialogue, right? Success come in many forms, right? What are you trying to be successful at? What are you trying to achieve? What does your success look like to you? For some, it's money. For some, it's a big house. For some, it's not going to jail. For me, basically, success for me is waking up every fucking day in my own home, not dope sick and not broke. And when I say broke, that's not how much money I have in my bank account, but I'm not scrolling around looking for some change to go find $1.07 to go buy a $1 cheeseburger at McDonald's plus the 7 cents for tax on it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't have to live like that no more, because I make a conscious choice every day that I'm not gonna pick up drugs. I'm not gonna do nothing stupid to put myself back in jail. And I'll be the first to say, I don't know how to be a parent. I'm trying to learn, right? I really don't, because I didn't have that in my life. I didn't have a father to tell me, yo, like, this is gonna happen. But to this day, I always felt like my mom was a psychic, because she would always tell me, you're gonna end up in jail or dead. And I was like, oh, she got 50% of it right. I always ended up in jail, right? But I'm still here. But breaking that freaking cycle, how do we get past that? How do we define what success is to us, right? And talk about it.
That's right.
Me, I'm always open to teach me how to be a father, because that's days, like even with 11-year-old daughter, and I tell like a lot of families, and I tell people all the time, like especially a lot of my residents, right, that deal with the mental illness, that I listen to them talk and they bash their family and this, that, all my, and I gotta listen. When you was born, yo, the doctor didn't smack you in the butt and say, yo, congratulations, miss, or such and such, you got a beautiful daughter or son. Now here's the manuscript. If your kid is born with X, Y, Z at the age of 3, start developing A, B, and C, please follow M, P, or whatever, section 1. No, it doesn't happen that way. They do the best that they can with what they have. But it's up to us to continue to strive to learn how to break the cycle that was passed on from before us, in order to open up and to come up to somebody and say, hey, Miguel, I'm going through some situation with my kid. What's the best way to answer? Because my ego is going to tell me my answer is always the right answer. Like my daughter always tells me, Daddy, you always know everything. I go, I do know everything. I'm the smartest man in the freaking universe. And then I go back like the other day, and I go, wait a minute. Oh shit, she was actually right. 11-year-old telling me.
That's right.
But I have to
See,
learn.
there we go. It's not in a book. You can't learn this. So this is a lifestyle. So this is why I say you just said it. You always open to be a greater parent, and that's what makes you a great parent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because nothing else could do it but your growth and development. But our growth and development, that's the only thing that can do this. That can make us the parents of being the great parent that you are today. Even with we still have to learn some things. Like you just said, you got to get over that. I am. I know everything. And then but you see how you step back and you acknowledge, damn, she was right. And that's what I have to do with mine today. I have to go to her and say, you know what, JoJo, you was right. I apologize. And you got to take that full accountability and responsibility for your parenting, your growth and development in life.
And if you don't mind, I want to just touch on something because as you guys were talking, you started bringing up of what the comparison is. So, for me, I was, it was more comfortable to be in conflict or in pain or whatever, right? So, I've been shot, I've been stabbed in the face, I've been burned 65% of my body in a fire, blowing up a boat where my mom couldn't even recognize me, motorcycle wrecks, shoulder separated, pins in my wrist, right? So that's what I was comfortable in, right? And that type of chaos and that type of pain.
Yes.
So then now the fear, right? This is the fear and the and also the vulnerability, right? So I had to change from what I thought was a tough guy, right, to now I have to pay to go to court to try to get my daughter. And I'm going to a place where I don't want to have nothing to do with, right? They're teaching me, okay, you need to learn to trust and to be open. Rule number 1 in the streets: don't fucking trust anybody. So
complete this story.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now, cry in front of your friends when you feel sad. Okay, here we go again. So basically, you can see, right, the dynamic of where we find ourselves, right, when we make that conscious decision to actively participate in our own lives, right? So I was caught in this thing. So I couldn't ask another gentleman for his phone number to be my sponsor to help me take me through the steps or do whatever it is that I needed to do. But now, Anthony tells me, yo, my dude will deliver to you right now at 3 o'clock in the morning in an alleyway. Go meet this complete stranger. Yeah, but I'll go get that number, go meet this complete stranger in a fucking alley at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Why'd you do that?
You know what I mean?
You're right.
But yet I won't go up to somebody who has the potential to save my life or to sit in a podcast, to have the ability to reach, the way I look at, hopefully millions, you know what I mean, of people, to say, oh wow, man, look at these. These are, not saying that I'm a thug, because I'm not a thug anymore. I don't consider myself that person. That was another life. I don't regret it. I embrace it because I learn from it. I could be around certain people and they're talking to me and I'm looking at them going, you're so full of shit, bro. Like, who do you think you're lying to,
Good
bro?
judge
Like,
of character.
You know what I mean? It's like,
that's what we are.
Your first sentence, I could already tell you. And it's because of the pain that I went through. Not because I have knowledge and I have an amazing working skill. It's because of all the pain I went through. I already know what doesn't work. And the first sentence that comes out of your mouth, I'm going to tell you, I don't even want to be around this dude. That's it. You know, and I'm allergic to negativity. I can't be around it, man. I can't.
That's what I always
It does
say.
something to my spirit and my
That's right.
soul. You know, either like, you know,
right.
like I say, Anthony's one of the guys. I'm slowly getting to know Gerard, you know, sitting over there. But you know, but it's when you find men, you know, like what we're talking about, right? Where you find men who were on the other side, and we're blessed because we're living two lives now, right? We got the chance
the
now of a
both
second
worlds.
life,
That's
man.
right, another journey.
So nobody can, you know, yeah, you could share with me, but I'm sure 3 of the things you're doing, I invented 2 of them. My
That's
boy
right.
invented
You
1,
can't
and this
shake
dude
that.
over here invented 5 of them. So don't come trying to, you know, and not that I'm trying to sound big or anything, but, you know, and just to kind of touch back a little bit, you know, about the, you know, Anthony was saying, oh, the houses and the cars and all that. Little did I know, and nobody taught me, here's one of these other things that I think is super important. Credit. The word credit. Okay,
CREDIT.
Equifax, you know, TransUnion, all right? These things, nobody taught me. I used to think, oh, they won't rent that. Oh, it's all right, but I got cash. Cash did absolutely nothing for me when I got clean, and I tried to rent the place.
Yeah.
Guess what happened? I got judged each and every single time, man. I was judged. Oh, you got felonies or you got this? Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Yep. Yep.
One of the things I had to learn when I went to go look for a job, have you ever been convicted of a felon? I hated that fucking line because I knew I was going to be judged. So what does my mentality say? All right, I'm gonna one up these dudes. I ended up on that perfect spot. I put more information upon request. Got him.
That's right.
I got him. That's it. If curiosity doesn't stop you now get to know me, nothing is. I'm not gonna allow you to judge me. I'm gonna let you talk to me, right? So I had to learn to work within the system, right? Build the credit to where before I had to have cash and I had to have X amount of dollars to, now I can physically get a pen. I can walk with a pen and walk anywhere,
Sign
whether it
that.
be a car, whether it be a house,
That's right.
and say, yo, let me get that.
Yep.
That's right.
All right, let me run your credit. Sure, here you go.
The beauty of
And at that point, I'll probably pull up and say, yo, here it is. I just ran it right now for you, buddy. Just so you get an idea of where I'm at. I'm not here to waste your time.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about no 8% interest rates. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? But I learned that. Nobody ever taught me that.
Yep.
That's right.
You know?
And listen, unfortunately, then we're getting out of time right now. But
Beautiful.
here's what I do want to do for everybody that's out here in the South Florida area. You already know. If you don't know Miguel, that's cool. AC. Ain't no one with more integrity in the business, more anal, more OCD about getting your
Good
shit
story.
correct and together.
That's
I
right.
promise you, not because he's my friend or my brother. You know what I'm saying? If I had to trust somebody without IC, he's the guy at the core. Miguel, once you plug in your business, how they can get a hold of you. If somebody, because it gets hot down here and their shit goes old,
Right.
and they already have some old homes that need some AC, how can they plug you in?
Yeah, well, like Anthony said, you know, I've been my own business owner now, coming up on 11 years.
Congratulations.
All fully organic.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
right.
Business completely fully organic, all referrals. I have no problem giving you phone numbers for jobs that I've done. My name is Miguel Abieg. That's Cool Air Conditioning, 561-901-6707. And your chilling is my guarantee. You know?
And with that being said, listen, I want to say thank you to everybody out there that tuned in, that been following us in season 1, 2, and now 3 here in Florida. I told you we got some good brothers down here in Florida.
Yeah, the Sun State.
Yeah, sunshine.
We here. Sunshine
You know
State.
what I'm saying? Wherever I go, I surround myself with nothing but positivity, with people that's going to uplift me, motivate me, and inspire me. Miguel is one of those brothers that I hold dear to my heart because, again, we've been there, we've done that, and he's the living proof that what hard work, dedication, and consistency, it will pay off.
Absolutely.
Guarantee, don't sell yourself short. You can always continue to follow us out there on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all social media platforms. Instagram, your favorite. What's your favorite?
Facebook.
No, what's your favorite?
You already know TikTok. We on TikTok. We on TikTok. Bet that.
And for all
Check
those,
it.
and for all those out there, man, that's listening, again, If you know somebody, or if you have a success story, have not been back to prison in quite some time, you're doing something positive in your community and giving back, please don't hesitate to give us the email. Shoot us an email at
successafterlockdown@gmail.com.
And with that being said, yo, peace out, breathe out, stay blessed, stay up.
From BX to South
To South
Sunny
Florida.
Beach.
FLA! Is that where you're from? Is where you're at?
There you go. Thank you, people. God bless, man. Stay up. Salute.
Success after lockdown.
Yes. Go.
Nice.